Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Garrard County Headquarters, where GSN is broadcasting today live with the 2022 Fall Sports Preview Show. We're so excited to be with you. Jeff Jacobs, Caleb Gresham, Scott Boland here to preview lots of great teams, lots of great organizations, phenomenal coaches, and fantastic kids, as this is going to be something that we always enjoy doing, Caleb, is the opportunity to sit down and talk to these kids, let their personalities come out, and let everybody get to see who they are.
Yeah, I tell you what, Scott, I'm just tickled to death to kind of be able to have this platform and this opportunity to kind of showcase not only the skill and the talent, the dedication and commitment from our coaches, but, man, to give a spotlight to our terrific student athletes here at Garrard County.
And, you know, it is one of those things where we know these kids, you know, and Jeff and you and I know these kids. We've been around these kids, but it's great, Jeff, for them to get the opportunity to be on here, kind of get to, you know, it's a cool thing. It's a cool thing because now, I mean, they're out in there in I don't know if you call it Facebook world because we're a little bigger now than Facebook world. We're in different things, but
we're worldwide.
Worldwide.
We're all over the place.
Network.
We are a network.
We are a network.
We are a network. That's what
this
a
is our
network is.
network headquarters. But they love it. They love it, and I love that folks get to see and get the opportunity to meet these young men and women.
Well, this is great too because I mean, last week we had our high school football, for the football team, but these student athletes, they're just as amazing.
That's right.
Their coaches and the people that are in charge of them, and they deserve just as much credit. And to be able to highlight them is hopefully, it's a lot of fun for one. It's well deserved. And again, if we can create some enthusiasm, we want folks to go out and support these student athletes. And to me, this is one of the best parts of doing this is to be able to highlight these kids and be able to showcase them. Basketball and football, it always kind of drives the ship, so to speak. But, man, these other sports are terrific. They're a lot of fun, and we want to expose students and folks to that.
100% correct. And it's going to be on Facebook today, so if you get an opportunity, go ahead and let us know some things. If you can comment on what we've got. We've already had one. Selena Willoughby says, I hope you meant fall and not spring. My bad.
We have it in our description as spring.
I got you.
It is the fall.
But it is. It's okay. It's okay. So here's one thing that is so consistent about us.
We will do a spring sports.
We will do a spring one.
It'll be a couple months down the road.
One thing that's consistent about us is you're going to have mistakes. I mean, as long as you have the two of us. Now, Jeff is a lot more.
Wait a minute, no, this is all.
He's a lot more
vu,
professional.
isn't it? This
Jeff is a whole lot more professional than we are. But yeah. So if you have comments or anything that you'd like to put on here on the Facebook machine, let us know. We would love to interact with you. So with that, we're going to go to our first break. But before we do, let's talk just a second about this break. Jeff is going to have throughout the day, you're going to get to see our awesome sponsors. We have some commercials now for awesome sponsors that's going to be able to run. And also, you've got a input as next Friday night is the first football game
my goodness,
at Lincoln County. Playing Somerset, 6 o'clock. We're going to air about 5:30. But we have an intro for the football game that you're going to be able to see too. So this first break and all the breaks today, you're going to be able to see some cool stuff. So with that, we're going to go to our first break, and we'll throw it right there. The Golden Lion Sports Network, Caleb Gresham, Jeff Jacobs, and Scott Boland. We will be right back after this 2-minute break.
2x2, fellas, 2x2. Loosen them up.
Let's go, big boy. You ready to go? Huh? Let's get after it today.
Ready? Move! If they're on offense and they pass the ball, you'll pass. If they run the ball, you'll run. Do you understand me? There he is. Good. Focus on your key.
If he's in a 2, remember, I'm going down, and you work to the backside back. Okay? We got to stay on our blocks and stay on our blocks. We're fine. Get off the football.
Come on, O-line.
Touchdown! Garrard County!
Garrard County Athletics are proudly brought to you by the Bob Allen Motor Mall, Central Kentucky Federal Savings Bank, the Irving Group, Realtors and Auctioneers, the Hunt Insurance Agency, First Southern National Bank, Sutton Pharmacy, Toyota of Somerset, Farmers National Bank, Holly Peak with Exit Realty, Danville Office Equipment, and Whitaker Bank, uniquely Kentucky.
And welcome back, folks. I hope you enjoyed that first little segment that you saw of the football preview. That's going to be up Friday night. You're going to be able to see that throughout the football season. A couple shout-outs here real quick. Our main man, Sean Sincorn, listening in.
Yeah.
And he's 100% right. So he's always proud to be an alumni and former worker at Garrard County High School. Guy absolutely bleeds Garrard County. I mean, fantastic stuff.
Big supporter.
Yep. Big supporter. Donnelly
he's
Barnes.
Our first fan.
He is. Always. Donnelly Barnes is in there giving us a hard time.
And I don't know why. When I was a coach, I coached Donnelly, and I never gave Donnelly a really hard time.
I couldn't imagine
I was always
that.
patient with him.
It's so cool to see. One of the things that we have now is like with the football program, all of these former players coming back and coaching. I absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right to the reason everybody is here. Miss Samantha, Coach Samantha Torres, good to see you. As always, we're so excited just to get to hang out with you guys. You've got two fantastic young ladies that's going to talk to us just in a minute. But we want to kind of get started with you and kind of talk a little bit about you. A lot of folks know you around here, but some may not, even though that you've been around for a little bit. Kind of give us a little bit of a Wikipedia page here, information about yourself to tell everybody a little bit more about Coach.
Okay, well, I grew up in Lincoln County. I played 4 years over there, and then as soon as I graduated high school, I started assistant coaching and head coach by 22. And then 3 years ago, I came over here to Garrard County and started head coaching over here. And I love the sport, and I coach year-round, and so I love giving back to the community and the girls.
So, Coach, this has been said before, but I think it's worth saying it again. Everything good in Lincoln County travels to Garrard County, right?
And I'm sitting between two of them, right? I think that's what he's getting to, Coach. I think that's what he's getting to. But a little bit of an understatement when you say you love to coach, because when you go year-round, you go year-round, right? So you coach our high school girls team.
Yep.
You're with the middle school, and you have a travel team.
Yeah, I coach with the travel team, and then I coach with the middle school team. Those two are at the same time. So, thankfully, high school, it's by itself.
Right.
And that is definitely an advantage that volleyball does have. So, volleyball is a fall sport at the high school and then a winter sport for middle school. And Coach, you're to be applauded for the dedication and commitment to kind of be invested in the program enough that you are willing to go in and not just support the middle school program, but be actively involved.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I love it. And I know, that's where it starts. If you get a good, solid middle school team going, give them the basics and teach them to love the game, then by the time they come to me at the high school, then we just keep rolling on what they already know.
So Lincoln County is very similar to Garrard County in the fact of volleyball has not always been a prevalent sport, right? So kind of how did you, two parts here, but how did you get into volleyball? And then, what sparked your interest? And then what's kind of fueled your fire as you went forward?
Well, I originally started playing in rec league in New Mexico, but I only played a year or so, and then we moved here and there was no volleyball, so I had to wait till high school. But what really got the passion of I just love to compete and I like the game of it. I was one of those that I always like to dive and roll around. So, but then what really sparked a real actual passion for it, where I was actually doing stuff outside of practice and stuff, was when I became that assistant coach. And then when that first year as a head coach, I loved the girls so much and I loved the team so much that I felt like they needed someone and they deserved someone who loved them and who could actually teach them something. And so all that research and learning, and that it grew more confidence in myself, and the passion came right along with it.
And, we've both coached as well on different sports, but you're right. You have to have a passion for the sport. You have to have a passion for the kids. And then the bigger version and the bigger view is you're trying to make them better as young ladies on your part, but as young ladies, because it is much more than just a volleyball game or a basketball or a football. It's about life and taking those life lessons.
Yeah, that's what we try to teach.
That's a cool thing. So let's talk a little bit about your team. First off, going back, Coach, last year, beat Bull County.
First round of the district.
First round of the district.
Yeah, so what a big win for the program that was, Coach.
Huge.
Oh, yeah, and I think we're having a board meeting that night, if I remember, and we were getting the videos of the girls celebrating.
That's awesome.
And, it was
fantastic.
It was my highlight of the board meeting. So kind of talk to us about that advance. Beat Bull County first round of the district, advancing to the district championship, which also means now you get to advance in the regional tournament. Kind of talk to us about what that meant for the program and kind of competing for the district championship and then going on to the region.
Yeah, that was a huge milestone for them. My seniors after the game had said that they hadn't beat Bull County since they were in like 8th grade or something. Like our program hadn't. And so the last couple years we've just been trying to instill in them this confidence, like you guys can do this if you'll just play your game and not get in your heads. And then they finally saw that we're actually capable of this.
Sure.
Like, we can take down these powerhouse teams if we play together and we stay strong and we don't let the negativity or our self-doubt, like, drag us down. Like, we can actually do this. And so having that and then going into this next year of we actually can compete with these teams. I mean, they make us feel like we can't, but we absolutely sure can.
Why not us, right?
Yeah.
Why not us? I mean, why can't we be that team, just like you're saying? I love that. So talk a little bit about this year. What do you have returning, and what's kind of your outlook and your vision for this team?
Yeah, I have several girls returning. I think I have like 4 to 5 girls who played varsity last year who are returning. I got setter that's returning, my libero's returning, and those two are key pieces for a roster. Because your setter, like football, is the quarterback. They run your offense. So if you have someone who's consistent and who already knows what they're doing, you don't have to start that from scratch. And then your libero runs your defense and your serve receive and all that. And so already having that game experience going in already helps us. Plus, I've got an outside who played 6 rotations this year, who played last year, and I got a right side who played last year too. And they are together were the unit from last year that are coming back to this year.
And like any sport, anytime you can bring some of your core back, that's kind of less that you have to teach as far as the fundamental part, and you keep building on that. Makes it so much better. And so we're getting ready to talk to your libero and one of your hitters. Talk a little bit about these 2 young ladies that came with you today, and Miss Ellis and Miss Getter.
Okay, so I've got Emily Getler and I've got Aislinn Ellis, and Emily is my setter. She's been setting since longer than I've been at Garrard County. And she's a very strong setter. Like, the team plays well when she's setting. But she's also got a lot of power. And so we have started this year where she does 2 positions. She'll play a setter on the back row. When she hits the front row, she actually becomes a hitter. So she actually gets to participate in scoring more of those points rather than just allowing someone else to score. And then Aislinn is my libero, and she's going into her 2nd year as a libero. So, well, 2nd and a half. 2020, about midway season, she switched over. But so 2nd full year as a libero. And she is phenomenal. Like, she talks to the team, and she tries to encourage the team. And her and Emily both, I've had players come to me about both of them saying they encourage me, and I feel like I'm welcome on that court with those 2. And so those pieces right there, that's how it helps a team win.
And so it goes without saying that you've got 2 great ladies, 2 great young ladies. But to your credit, before we get Aislinn coming in here, you've done an outstanding job with this program, the excitement, the competitive level, the wins. But most importantly, you got great gals.
I do.
And they're phenomenal young ladies, and we appreciate that. And we're going to get Miss Ellis in here.
Hang on.
We have an announcement.
We have an announcement.
We
talked
do?
about this in the conference room over there.
Oh, we like announcements.
Now, I apologize, but we're going to test these guys volleyball knowledge.
Okay.
Yes.
But we talked about it. We're going to make sure we get in to do a game this year.
Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Can't wait. I can't.
On
Here's the issue with volleyball. Okay, if it gets quiet, they might hear us yelling at the referees, and we don't want that. We don't want that. So if the game we're there, we're going to need some type of like energy, so
Student
we can.
section.
Yeah, student section.
Yeah.
So if we're
Yes.
fussing at the referees,
We're trying. Something that we're working on this year is like themed volleyball games.
Great.
Like they do for the basketball
Love
stuff.
it.
Like this is what we're doing, so we can get more of that participation and make it a lot
absolutely.
more fun.
I'll talk to the
Sure.
band guys. See if I
Come
can
on
get the
in,
band there sometime at one point.
That'd
Anyway,
be fun.
Coach,
I've never
it's great
had
to
that,
see you.
so-
We'll make it happen. Come on in here, Libero Ellis. Now, would we call you Libero Ellis, or would it be Island Libero Ellis, or how? What would you prefer?
Whatever you want to call
Whatever
me.
you want
I
to call
don't
you.
care.
When I looked, you're the only one.
That's a little scary, right?
That is a little
It's
scary.
nice.
That is a little scary. I mean, you're the very few liberos running around in Garrett County.
Oh, yeah.
I've looked. I've been here for a long, long time. You're the first one I've talked to. But so Isla, tell us a little bit about you. We know you, and we've known you forever. But the folks the millions that are out there watching may not. So tell us a little bit about Isla Ellis.
Well, I have grown up in Garrett County my entire life. I've had siblings play sports, and so my whole family is a sport family. So I am a senior at the high school. I play volleyball and softball.
Great.
I don't really.
A little bit of
So,
everything.
Coach, let me tell you a bit of background information here as well, okay? So she, Island has a lot of things in common with us. So she takes a lot of, when we were in high school, a lot of AP classes,
Yeah. Oh.
a lot of dual
Yes.
credit classes,
Oh,
and has a
definitely.
GPA of 4.294.
That was like ours combined. Together.
true.
That's unbelievable.
Wow.
Island. 4 point, what'd you say?
294.
Good gracious. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
That is awesome. I'm not going to ask if that's the highest of the Ellis siblings that was in there.
I don't know if it would be. I think Logan might have had a higher one. than
Well,
me.
really?
Yeah.
Man, 4.29. That's
Impressive
really
family.
impressive.
Yeah.
So tell us a little about. It was a little bit of an understatement too. When you said you're from a sports family. You're from a big sports
Oh, yeah,
family.
definitely.
You all have been all over Kentucky and outside the state playing sports. Volleyball, you're the first
Yes,
in
I
the
am.
bunch. So tell us, how did it get started with you? Because I know you grew up watching baseball, softball, all this other stuff. How did you get in volleyball?
Well, in volleyball, when Mom started out the high school, she was the attendance secretary. So I would go with her during the summer, and they were holding open gyms during the summer. So I went down. I was just walking the halls one day, and I saw them in the gym, and I fell in love with it.
I was like,
watching
why
it.
not?
Yeah, so I decided to try it, went to open gym, and been playing ever since.
And I tell you, folks, if you've never been to a volleyball match, man, we encourage you to
I
come
love
out.
it.
It's a high pace, a lot of fun, energetic competition here. And the neat thing I really like about it, we say this a lot about football in terms of, it's a community event. Well, volleyball, when you have freshmen, JV, and varsity, you have a lot of people come through that gym all in the same night. And it's really neat kind of seeing kind of a lot of people kind of come in and kind of supporting the program from that perspective. So kind of looking back on your volleyball career, what is a highlight? What is something that you cherish the most?
Probably definitely beating Bull and
Oh,
going
yeah.
to the district championship, because it's been, I think, in the volleyball program 5 years since we made it to the championship. So it was definitely a encouraging moment for the team.
And that's a great thing, And before we get you out of here, won't you tell us what kind of your goals this year? Like, what do you want to see the team accomplish?
I definitely want to beat Bull again,
Yeah,
but maybe go further in region and definitely beat Lincoln. We have struggled against them in the past.
I mean,
Sounds
I'm
like
there.
a good
They
season
can-
That
right
sounds
there.
like a good season to me.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm in. So, last question, I promise to let you go. What's the future going to hold for Isla Nelson's?
I would like to go to college and go and do something, either physical therapy or sports psychology.
Well, with a GPA of 294, I don't think you're going to have really any issues wherever you want to go. So, Miss Ellis, it's great to talk to
Thank
you
you for
here with
having me.
everybody. Absolutely. Miss Gettler, come on in. Come on in and have a seat. Coming in is Miss Emily Gettler. Is that right, Gettler?
Gettler?
Gettler. And so Emily is a setter.
Yep.
And also a part-time hitter, correct? So, Emily, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about, some of these folks that are out here watching that may not know you.
Yeah.
And then we'll get on into it to kind of talk some volleyball with you.
Yeah. Well, I've lived here my whole life. My sister and I both have. My sister played volleyball and tennis just like I am, and she graduated in the class of 2020. So
fantastic.
Again, Coach, and this just shows you we have 2 multi-sport athletes here, and we have 2 student athletes that flat out get it done in the classroom. Emily has a 4.086. Cumulative GPA. So, I mean, just another phenomenal, not only athlete, but also a student in the classroom.
Thank you.
That is unbelievable. And so, unlike Aislinn, where she just was the first in her family to kind of get into volleyball, you had somebody in your family with your sister. So, what kind of got you into that? Just watching her, or how did you get in love with the game?
It was mostly watching her. Same thing with Aislinn with the open gyms. We were both in 5th grade, and at the time, my sister was already in middle school going to them. And I'd go with my mom to go pick her up, and I'm like, this seems really fun. Like, I want to get into this.
And that's a cool thing too, right?
Yeah.
So do you all have a little bit of a competitiveness between the two of you? Like,
oh, we did for sure. Because when I was a freshman, she was a senior.
Oh,
and we were both varsity starters. So it was interesting for sure.
So kind of the same thing we kind of asked Aislinn earlier. What are some expectations kind of going into this season?
I definitely think that we should beat Boyle and Lincoln this coming season, and same thing, advance further into the regional tournament.
So once this year's over, kind of what's your vision and what's your plans down the road? I know you're 17-ish, so it's kind of hard to tell 100%, but what would you like to do down the road?
I think I'd like to go to Somerset Community and go to the nursing school.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So Emily's involved in our nursing program.
You beat me to it. We have a phenomenal nursing program here at the school.
Yep.
And so you're in this building, actually. You're in the bottom of the headquarters every day, right, when you come in here. So that's really cool, and have that opportunity to go and do that. And so
Emily, anytime, are you going to be in phlebotomy or?
Yeah, I took Nurse A this past year and got certified.
So Mr. Boland, his office is upstairs.
Is a lie. That's the truth.
His office is upstairs, and he will volunteer anytime you need to have some sticks with phlebotomy.
But I won't like it. I will do it simply because my love of Garrard County students.
He's dedicated.
I'm dedicated, but I tell you what, we are going to come and do a volleyball game. Very excited about doing that. That'll be a lot of fun.
For sure.
And we can't wait to yell and cheer you guys on.
Good job,
Emily.
guys.
Good luck to you guys. Coach, thank you so much for coming. I know today is picture day, and so we're getting ready to go over that. And with that, we'll throw it to another break, and we'll be back to preview band, which will be next with Dr. Christopher Vance and his main drum major that'll be here as well too. So you are listening to the 2022 Fall Sports Preview Show here on Golden Lion Sports Network.
Motor Mall is a proud sponsor of Garrett County football. Shop Bob Allen for a winning selection of new and pre-owned vehicles, all dealmaker price. Click and save today at boballenmotormall.com.
Central Kentucky Federal Savings Bank understands family, tradition, community mean just a little bit more around here. You can see it and hear it, and that's why we take so much pride in what we do. Central Kentucky Federal Savings Bank, your hometown friends, your hometown bank.
I'm Holly Peak with Exit Realty, your hometown realtor. I love seeing old friends and meeting new. Buying, selling, I know the value of our area. Our 3D virtual tour will sell your home fast. Like you, I'm sold on the Golden Lions.
Garrard County is our special place. And that's why Hunt Insurance Agency is proud to serve the insurance needs of local businesses, families, and individuals. We build relationships that last because getting to know you and your personal needs is what we do best. Hunt Insurance Agency.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back as we just had an awesome opportunity to sit and talk to Miss Samantha Torres and two of her Lady Lions volleyball teams. So I know you guys have been waiting all week for this.
I have been waiting.
Go ahead.
My whole career.
The whole career. Go ahead and text your friends, call your friends, let them know it's about to go down here in the Golden Lion Sports Network headquarters because we have the Godfather, Dr. Christopher Vance.
So
Thank you, Dr. Christopher Vance,
before
coming
we even
in.
get started, we got to know the origin of the nicknames. Dr. Vance and the Godfather.
So how did that start, Dr. Vance?
Dr. Vance started with you.
Reliable source.
We worked
as a reliable source.
That's true. Each other, and
That's
I
true.
think one day walking down the hall, you said, Dr. Vance.
Well,
somebody heard it, and they just assumed it was real. And it's not, but I'm going to take it.
You just always look like.
I think it is real.
I think it is real.
Doctor of music.
The Doctor of music.
Man, it could be worse, guys. I mean,
I get called a lot worse.
Doctor of life. That's you. Doctor of life. So, Dr. Vance, tell everybody around here that who may not know the background of the Godfather, a little bit about you and your many years of service here at Garrett County.
I grew up in Paris, Kentucky, in Bourbon County, and I went to the University of Kentucky and got my music education degree. Was actually leaving one morning to go to apply for graduate school because I hadn't found a job over the summer. And I got a call from somebody that knew that this job had just come open. So I drove straight down here, met Marshall Norton that day. They told me to go to the board office and fill out an application, which back then was like half a sheet.
A little different now.
A little different onboarding.
And this is my 28th year. I've been here the whole time.
So Donnelly Barnes has given him another nickname.
What's that?
The Legend.
The Legend. You know,
my goodness.
So that's true. I mean, you know, we'll talk with Brooke a little bit here in a minute about certain things. But I mean, you guys, all honesty, you have all these sports that play. Nobody works as hard as you guys do. I mean, from beginning to end, when you guys start, from when y'all go through your camp and all of that stuff. But unless you're involved or at least closely associated with the program, nobody realizes how much time and effort goes into what y'all are doing.
Yeah, we spend 3 weeks during the summer getting ready, and we actually kind of start in March trying to figure out who's going to be involved, and then. Like I said, now that school started, we practice Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and then ball games when there's a football game, and then contests on Saturdays. I tell the kids every year that they have to be a little bit crazy because they'll go out there and do everything we ask, and it's on asphalt. So it's even hotter.
Well, I tell you, when I used to coach football here when I first came to Garrett County, and the practice football field's right beside the parking lot. And the guys would always cry about how hot it was and how tired they were. But I'd always remind them the band was practicing before we practiced, and the band was practicing even after we got done. So just the dedication and commitment from our band. And, Chris, one of the things that I think is the model, and I'll be honest, this is year 24 for me in Garrett County schools. And without a doubt, I mean, you can't argue with the results. Our band has been as maybe the most successful entity in terms of co-curricular, extracurricular my 24 years. At top 10 in performances in finals in our class. But the model I think you've been able to kind of develop here with you going down and working with the middle school working with the high school, and it is a program here.
Yes, it has to be that way. If there wasn't that connection to the middle school and with Mr. Green, then it would just be his kids, and then there'd be a separation.
Right.
We'd never be able to get them on to keep going. And then usually, and we want them to be happy. So usually we get a kid in the door, we can keep them in the door.
Right.
And if not, then there's something else they want to do. And it's a blessing for them too.
So you talked about Mr. Green. He's been here not your entire 28 years, but not far from it.
I think this is his 26th this year. So
not far from it.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So 2014 state champions.
My goodness.
Unbelievably great year. But man, what a phenomenal night, EKU. One of my many band competitions I was attending.
So I tell you this, we'll go back to 2014. One of the things, Scott is a former basketball coach. So Chris bringing the marching band to basketball games, or Scott going to band competition.
About the same. About the same, especially when there was snow in the forecast.
Because he had to drive too far.
He wouldn't walk across the street. But
if you're going to say that, then we need to say about how you watched our first state performance.
I was there.
You were there in the parking lot with the winter crack.
But it was raining. I couldn't melt. So 2014, unbelievable, man. I mean, obviously the pinnacle of what you're trying to work for.
Yeah.
But just a recap about, I mean, how awesome. One of those, just a phenomenal chance.
It was great, and that night you all were there. It was like 2 degrees.
Oh, man, it was cold.
So it was kind of miserable.
Yeah.
But we always tell the kids that when it's time to perform, you have to ignore everything else.
Yep.
And for 6.5 minutes, 7 minutes, block it out.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have known it was cold at all.
Yeah, and so to me, I'm always amazed about your all's practice. I'm always amazed by how much they remember. I mean, you have to remember the music, you have to remember your steps, you have to remember all that stuff. And we're going to talk to Brooke here in a minute about that as well. But when you get in there, it is because you've got judges that are judging the music. you're judging your movement, you're judging all this stuff, and to be able to block that out, that's kind of that's a tough deal, and still be able to perform.
It is, and just in the past maybe 4 years ago, they started putting judges on the field with the kids. So that whole first year, we didn't tell them until we got there because we didn't want to freak them out. And they were like, Mr. Vance, there were judges out there. I know. I couldn't believe
What in
that.
the world? Are they lost? Are they lost? That's a cool deal. So talk a little bit about your show this year. I know you got, you guys are already working on it. So tell us a little bit about your show.
We've got about 2/3 of our show complete already. We told the kids forever it was a dark Christmas theme. And not so much meaning they were sad music. It's just that it's not Jingle Bells and Deck the Halls or anything.
Right.
And then we're actually calling it is Winter's Rage.
Oh, yeah.
So it's got the Carol of the Bells is in there. You hear a lot of that, as well as multiple other. There's even a piece of music from Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, yeah.
So. Yeah.
So I'm going to, before we go any farther, so you've had a state title, which is crazy awesome. You've had so many state finals. You've had all this stuff. Band leader of the year. But probably the most impressive thing I've ever seen was last year. I mean, sort of took you to a different level in my eyes, and I didn't think it was possible. But Jeff, if you'll show that, I'm going to show Mr. Vance. So let's talk just a little bit about Brooke. We're going to this picture here. So when I saw you come out in this, I was like, that guy right there is my band. I mean, that's my band leader. That's my band director. My band coach. That's my band coach.
I failed and really it wouldn't focus as good.
That's okay.
But I think people got the gist.
Yeah. We'll show it every game.
I'll see if I can do better. Insert it in there.
We did a cowboy western show last year, and we dressed them up not in band uniforms, but in cowboy hats and big belt buckles and jeans.
I love it.
And some of them were a little apprehensive about wearing that for a while, and I'm like, well,
that's right.
I need them to relax and have a good time, so I had to dress like that.
Hey, listen, here's the thing. We
he looks like a movie character.
He does.
I mean,
he kind of like
he wears it well.
Well,
he does wear it well.
Right. Woody from Toy Story, first one that popped in my eye.
No, that's not.
So here's what I'll tell you about.
I think it's Clint Eastwood.
Here's what I'll tell you about Mr. Vance, giving him a hard time. He is phenomenal with band and all that stuff. He's an even better dude.
He really is.
I absolutely love this guy. I give him a hard. It does show good.
Oh, yeah.
I give him a hard time, but he is a phenomenal guy.
We're blessed to have him.
Blessed to have him. And the
blessed
thing
to be here.
And the thing about it is sometimes you don't realize what you got because you've been doing such a good job for so long. But we do appreciate that. And if you have not had the chance, get out and watch the band. And we'll be posting all their stuff that's coming and get the chance to watch them because you've got some local competitions. I know you guys will travel, but you got some local competitions which will be starting up when?
September 10th is our first one. It's in Boyle County.
Okay.
And the next week is at Madison Southern.
Yeah.
Most of the places are going to be very close this year.
Fantastic.
And I'll tell you, we're hoping everything goes well with weather on the 26th of this month, which I know there's no way football game that night, so we'll probably lose the football fans. But we're going to do a dress rehearsal on the football field.
Great.
With all the bells and whistles.
So actually, we're open that night. That's a Friday night, right?
Yes.
Because the football team plays the 27th.
Oh, that's right.
Saturday night at Danville.
Okay.
So no excuses for the community to really come out. And what time is that going to be?
We're thinking it's going to be 7.
Okay.
We're still trying to get all the details lined out. But it's free. It's just you all can come see what we do.
Great. Well, now I wasn't going to tell you this, but I may tell you I might have volunteered you to come to a volleyball game at some point in time. Maybe. I don't know if they're still watching, but I may have volunteered you all to come.
That sounds about right?
That sounds exactly right. So that means I'll see you on the 26th.
That's right. I'll be there. Okay. We'll make it happen. So with that, Dr. Vance, thanks, brother. Always a pleasure to see you. With that, Brooke is going to make her way in here. Step in here and talk to us, Brooke Moore, as you are the drum major for the 2022-2023 season. Thank you so much for joining us, Brooke. I know you see us and we like to give Dr. Vance a hard time, but no better guy to lead the band.
Absolutely
right?
not. Absolutely not.
A phenomenal dude. Tell us a little bit about your history, kind of who you are, what got you to be in the band, but what in this chair. I mean, it's a big deal what you're doing now.
Well, I grew up in Nicholsville, and then we moved here a little bit into my freshman year. And then I technically started band my sophomore year, but that was the year of COVID, so we didn't get to go to any competitions, anything like that. And that was the year that we actually found out that we were doing the Cowboy show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but we couldn't do it until the following year, which was last year. So last year was my first real year of actually marching. And the drum major last year has grown and still is my best friend.
That's great.
So she really, really inspired me to push myself, and I ended up getting it.
So kind of walk us through the process. How do you become the drum major?
Well, like Vance says that you can teach a monkey to conduct, which is that is the truth. Yeah. And that is the truth, but it's really, you know, you have to prove that you have leadership attributes to you, have a good relationship with the band, be present in the band as much as possible, really just how you partake in the band.
Oh, yeah. So when you were playing in the band and you were at the drum, what instrument did you play?
I played flute.
You played the flute?
Yeah.
And so tell me a little, because I'm just fascinated by this always. Obviously, I try to play instruments and can't like you all without reading the music. Memorizing all of the music and all the notes, but second, memorizing where to stand. I mean, how does that process work? I know it's through repetition, and many hours of work, but how hard was that to pick up for you when you first started?
Incredibly difficult, but Vance has a really good system going in the morning. Before lunch, we focus on outside all the time, marching. He gives us pretty decently frequent and long breaks. So morning time is for marching, and then afternoon after lunch is more for memorizing music and practicing music to not only get it down by memory, but also make sure that we can actually play it and it sounds good. And then
go ahead, Burke. I'm sorry.
And then, you know, competitions and stuff, it all just clicks. It's muscle memory.
Oh yeah.
So one of the questions I always have is if we don't have a good run, does Mr. Vance take it out on the drum major or take it out on the band?
Good question.
Now, we all know how patient Mr. Vance
very,
is. You know, mild-tempered and patient.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of depends on where the issues fall. Like if the band itself is slowing down, but I'm not, and I fix myself so that I'm with the band, then Vance will probably yell at the band. That's already happened once or twice. But if it's something minor, like I forgot a cutoff or something, then he'll just kind of look down at me because I'm down here and he's all the way up here, and I can just look up at him and he's like, "What are you doing?"
So are you in charge of kind of keeping the time, like when it's going, so you don't have that ding ding that metronome going all the time?
I've had it every single day so far, but come competition time and stuff, I will not have it. Yep.
Man, that's impressive as well, because that is hard stuff. How many times have you ever heard "check a set, take it back"? Have you heard that?
I cannot count.
I've heard that 1,000 times. I'm not even in the band. Check a set.
Yes, I do.
Come on, flutes. Come on.
Yeah.
I used to hear that all the time when he was up there. So what's the future hold for you, Brooke? What are you looking forward to whenever you get out of school, and what will you be doing next?
I plan to go to law school to be a lawyer, and I'm actually taking a law class through Eastern this year for my senior year. So, yeah.
Man, that is awesome. So
the future is bright. Another shining example of an athlete, student athlete here. Brooke has a GPA of 3.63.
Man, that is great.
Do you think? What do you think Mr. Vance's GPA was in high school, Brooke?
We're not talking about all 4 years combined.
It's black and white. Either he had a 2.0 GPA or 4.0 GPA. There is no like in between.
So here we've got a comment, Dr. Vance, that's came in here. Brandon McClone says Vance probably wishes he still had my cymbals talent on the squad. And he's shaking his head, Brandon. He's like, oh yeah, he does. So
I tell you, but we've had a lot of folks chime in with the band here, so definitely want to go through this real quick, Scott. Juan Perez has checked in, is excited about the band. Season Zachary Wright, Adrian Kruger, Selena Willoughby says the best band teacher that GC's ever had. So,
band coach.
Yeah, band coach. So just a lot of folks excited about the upcoming band season.
I made sure to text our group chat and say, are y'all watching now?
That's right.
We're about to go on.
Make sure they're in there. Well, Brooke, good luck to you, Dr. Vance, the whole bunch, the entire band. We support you guys. I know we like to joke and have a good time, but we're very serious. You guys are as successful or the most successful program we've had here over the years. And we're so thankful for you. and your stuff, and we just want you to know that we appreciate you.
Thank
All right?
you.
Thank you so much. With that, we'll go ahead and take one more break before we have the head coach of the men's soccer team here. Coach Lewis Klusner will be in with us and hanging out with us. We'll go ahead and take a break. You're listening Golden Lion Sports Network here at the GEC and the GLN headquarters. We'll be right back.
Homeowner, I didn't know anything about the loan process, so that's why we decided to go with First Southern.
Process with First Southern was exactly how I pictured it.
They were just very welcoming and made me feel like I had known them forever the minute that I walked through the door.
Since 1967, Urban Group Realtors and Auctioneers have helped folks with their farms, commercial property, auction needs, and of course, dream homes.
The Urban Group Realtors and Auctioneers, no one sells it better.
Since 1951, Danville Office Equipment has dedicated itself to providing personal service and superior office products for our customers. We take a lot of pride in their success because that's how we measure ours. Danville Office Equipment, Danville, Lebanon, and Somerset.
Farmers National Bank believes investing in education is the best way to build a stronger community. Good luck to all the Garrett County students in the classroom and on the playing fields. Go Lions!
And welcome back, folks. Hope you enjoyed the first segment with the lady volleyball team. Second segment with our band with Dr. Vance and Brooke as our drum major. And now we've got sitting in with us head coach Lewis Klusner of the men's soccer team. We're so excited to have him. Two outstanding young men we're going to visit with here in just a minute. But Coach Klusner, your last name's synonymous with Garrett County Soccer. We'll talk more as we go. We all know you, but some of those may not. So tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do during the day, because a lot of people may not know that, but also just kind of what brought you to be the head coach.
Yeah, so I'm from Garrett County, grew up in Lancaster, went to LES as a kid. Dad got me involved in soccer at an early age. We were going to Danville. I remember Saturday mornings going over to Danville, playing rec league over there, and as I got older, Dad was trying to really create a culture of soccer over here, and so, he got involved, tried to get other kids involved, and then so I played some rec league in Garrett County over in Danville. Went on to play middle school. I was part of the first middle school team, then part of the first high school team, and I've always loved soccer. I wasn't nearly as good in the other sports. I love basketball. I'd get the ball and try to throw it to someone else immediately, and then attempted baseball, but always loved soccer. And so, time has passed after high school, and then I was the assistant under Chris Greco for some time, and I really look at Chris Greco as a mentor in soccer. And he left, and so I took over as coach. So I'm in my 5th year.
So I tell you, Lewis, we really appreciate how much passion you do have for soccer, and the numbers this year are indicative of your excitement, your passion, your staff's excitement and passion, and all that stuff has kind of trickled down to we've got close to 40 kids on our soccer roster.
And I couldn't do that without assistants Jonathan Martin and Jackson Moss. Jackson Moss is in the high school. The kids love him. He's so personable, so good with the kids, just a gregarious guy. Then you got Jonathan Martin, who is just extremely passionate.
Former head coach.
Yeah. He had some fantastic seasons. So he's with us. He's getting those kids. He's working with Coach Weed over at the middle school, getting those kids excited for soccer and bringing them up. So couldn't do it without those guys. They are fantastic.
Well, absolutely. And talking about Coach Moss, you're exactly right. Having somebody like him on your staff, one, that's so excitable and the kids love, but having him in those hallways, every day, and touching base with those kids and building those relationships. Obviously, he's a phenomenal, role model for those kids, but so good at building those relationships, and it helps you whenever you get to the soccer field.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I teach at LES, and so I only see those guys, we do some stuff in the off season. I see them at practice, see them at the games, but Moss sees them every single day, and he is extremely important to the success of our team right now.
So I tell you,
I'm very thankful.
Take a step back here and think about this. We have a coach that's involved at the elementary level.
That's right.
We have a coach that's involved at the middle school level.
Coach Martin.
And then we've got a coach also that's at the high school. So, I mean, you talking about really covering all bases to make, to kind of recruit and give the program the spotlight that it deserves to get these numbers up. I think that's been real beneficial.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, I love the way it is right now.
Sure.
Just kind of having somebody at every single level. Last year was a huge step forward with our program.
No doubt.
We're looking to continue to build that, and I'm so glad that we have guys at different levels.
And we want to talk about that as we go forward. But before we do, I don't want to go over here just a second because Garrett County has not always had volleyball and soccer. It was something that was kind of built and was kind of brought here. And we talk about your dad and Kurt Carrier.
Sure.
They were the two that it was a process getting it in here. I mean, many hours I've seen those two guys are cutting fields and they're working and doing that kind of stuff. I mean, again, soccer just doesn't show up.
No,
So talk a little bit about just kind of that process, how we got it started here in the county.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, I remember going over to Danville on Saturday mornings and. And eventually, Kurt, my good friend Nathan Carrier, he got involved, and it started to trickle, and we started getting more kids involved. And so, I remember going out, Dad and Kurt, several other folks who were just, really, really starting to get involved. And, there would be coaches, there'd be people lining the fields.
Yeah.
People volunteering. I remember the orange slices at halftime and the high C drinks after the game. And so, and then you think of Martin coming in the early 2000s and starting to take over as coach. Chris Greco, who is so influential with the program. And so it's really awesome to see just so many people who have been involved and invested. And we have a great group of parents right now who are extremely invested. They're doing, they come to our away games. They come to all our home games. They're wanting to help out in so many different ways. So
no doubt.
We have a lot of people who are invested right now from the past and right now in the present.
And so with all that being said, we're 2-0 starting this year. You can't win them all unless you win the first two, right? so we're talk a little bit about this team. I know last year was phenomenal. We had a very successful year, like as you already said, major step forward. So what do you expect out of this team and going forward?
Yeah, one of the things I loved about these first two games is how unselfish we were. Yesterday we played Barberville, and we won 10-0.
Yeah,
Barberville was a little bit weaker of a team. We've been there before where you're just trying to develop, and I think they're kind of in that place where they're developing. But we had 10 goals and we had 8 assists.
That's great.
And I love the unselfishness that our players had. They were finding each other. They were trusting one another. And I think with that trust, we're really going to start developing. We're starting to develop that confidence in each other so that we can start competing within the district, the Boyles, the Danvilles, the Lincolns. So I think it is so very important over the course of these next first few weeks, really developing that trust in one another so that everyone can have confidence.
So, Coach, I don't want to gloss over this. I mean, we are 2-0, so we're excited about that. But we've outscored our opponents 17-3. That's pretty impressive, Coach.
Oh yeah, we have some great weapons on the offensive end. I mean, you got Zach Daly. Zach Daly can score in a variety of ways. He's got great foot skills. He's got a great shot. You have Jefferson Morgan, plays in the midfield, one of the fastest, if not the fastest players on the team. I mean, he can play. The thing about Jeff, he can play any position on the field very well. You got Alex Young, a newcomer. He's out on the wing. He brings us great speed. Julian Wilson, a senior, who, he is just a dog out there. He's just grinding. You got somebody like Justin over here, who was offensive-minded for the couple years, and he's made the sacrifice to go back on the defensive end. And Mason Reynolds, who's just, has an amazing athletic ability, just to make some great saves. So, and then Jabe Moore. He's only in his third year playing soccer, and he's in the sweeper position, which is a center back. He's got to be able to see the entire field. And so I love what we have on the offensive end. I love what we have on the defensive end. I love that these guys are really playing through each other and supporting each other. And so, the road's only going to get more challenging. And so I'm glad that we started off 2-0 and that they're really, really developing.
So that kind of leads us into talk a little bit about the district, kind of who are we going to need to beat in the district to kind of win a district championship and hopefully advance to the region.
Yeah, if I had to guess right now, I'd say Boyle is the strongest team in the district right now. They brought back a lot of their starters. I've looked at some of their line scores. I mean, I think they're undefeated. Danville is always strong. Then Lincoln at one point they were a developing program like us. I mean, they're strong as well. And so
it's a
it's
very competitive
tough.
district.
Very competitive district. When you think, you think of Louisville's, you think of Lexington's and Northern Kentucky. Outside of that, we're one of the strongest districts.
No,
in the state, I'd say.
no doubt about that. And so, you talk about this team and kind of where we're going with the team and that kind of thing. So what can you see? Like, what's your vision for Garrard County soccer in the years to come? I mean, I know we've got our numbers are up and great things happening. Next 3, 4, 5 years, what can you see?
I think it starts with the young folks.
Absolutely.
The grassroots, getting those people out to the rec league, getting the feel for the ball, making it exciting for the kids, making it fun, and so that by the time they get to middle school, they have a feel, some instincts in the game. And so I'm so glad that, like I said, Martin's in the middle school. You got Wheat, who's working with the middle school right now. And so, by the time they get to the high school, those instincts and that feel of the game just kind of take over, and we can just kind of have it organized so that we can compete in the game.
So, Coach, before we get our student athletes on, we talked volleyball that we owe them a broadcast, and I think we owe boys soccer broadcast as well.
We're going to be on soccer.
Definitely do. So we're gonna pick us a good and get out there and check it all out. Can't wait. Yeah.
One where it's a little bit overcast. So we did the girls last year. We were on the wrong side, but now we can move to the right side.
I got that worked out. We're going to be able to be on the other side. I got a little electric box now, so hopefully
I tell you,
don't get hit by the ball.
That's right.
They're going to be flying all over the place.
I'd do anything not to have to shoot in that sun, Coach. At the end of the day, I couldn't see the ball. I couldn't see anything. It makes it tough.
It's a beautiful sunset, though, right?
It is a beautiful sunset.
Yes,
we can set up right beside Coach and kind of comment on the coaching techniques. Coaching tips.
If you need something, we can always help you. I've got an extensive soccer background.
Hey, Donnelly Barnes said that soccer's in great hands. Appreciate all the work that you do.
Donnelly, great guy. We graduated together, so I have fond memories.
No doubt about it, Coach. We're so thankful for you.
Hey,
thanks for all you do. We look forward to seeing the guys. We're going to let one of you guys come.
Let me ask Coach. I don't like this winter World Cup thing though. I was ready. I want it in the summertime.
Oh, it's always fun in the summer.
I don't know how I'm going to feel about it in November or December.
You might have to change your Sunday afternoons. You might have to, turn it over to the soccer. Right?
Yeah.
Start the football. Well, and, I'm a Bengals fan, but
it's football.
Oh, it is football. Absolutely.
Original football.
Yeah.
Original
Absolutely. I think
football.
Qatar, they don't want to be playing in the 130
It's like 130 degrees. I don't blame.
Hey, no excuses. No
Bunch of
excuses.
Bunch of wimps. But no, come on in here, Mason. Thank you, Coach Klusner.
Thanks, Coach.
We sure appreciate you, man. We're going to get the goalie of the 2022-23 team, Mason Reynolds, with some of the best hair, dude. Great job. The hair looks awesome.
He's jealous, Mason.
I am
always
jealous.
Talks
I
about
am
Mason's
jealous.
hair.
His dad had great hair. Maybe not as much now, but his dad had great hair too. So before we go any farther, how'd you let 3 goals score? I mean, were you just kind of saying, you know what?
A little rusty.
You're a little rusty. I understand. So Mason's the goalie for the team, as well as he's a pitcher for the baseball team, multi-sport athlete. Mason, tell us a little bit about you, and kind of tell us what brought you into soccer and kind of what got you to where you're at now.
Well, I think back in 6th grade, I was just kind of looking for something to do in the fall. Mom was like, I played soccer, you should try it. So I tried it and really liked it, been doing it ever since. Then I started out playing in the field, saw the goalie, was like, that looks fun. I asked Coach, said, hey, can I try it? And I've just been there ever since.
So one of the misnomers is, every now and then you still hear people say soccer is a non-contact sport. Mm-hmm. Soccer is definitely a contact sport. And when you come out, you actually get to see how aggressive and how physical soccer really is. And the pictures that I've seen people post on Facebook, my goodness, Mason. I mean, you go after that ball, and I mean it's with a reckless abandonment to make sure that you get to secure it and don't let the team score.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I don't understand because, like you said, with being a goalie, you're one goal, so not let the ball go in the hole or go in the goal. I understand that. Technique-wise, is there technique that you use, or are you basically 100% just on instinct and reaction?
There's a little bit of technique that they teach you, but in the game, some of it just kind of goes away, and it's just, keep it out, hit it away.
Just
try
whatever,
and catch it. Just
whatever it
keeps
takes.
whatever works, yeah.
So when you get it, and I don't understand the parts of this, but when you get in, there's times you
I
punt.
can help you. If
You can
need
help
it.
it because you're a professional. I'm
a
not.
pro here.
There are times where you will punt it. There's times you'll throw it, and there's times that you'll just kind of like kick it off the ground. I mean, so when do you determine the difference out of that? So, because I'd want to kick it as far as I can.
Well, if there's a bunch of people in the box with me, and somebody like Jeff or Zach is, hey, I'm open, and I'll just roll it out to them, and they'll take it and do whatever.
So
it's all about possession.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
The ball.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have to have that thought process of understanding where people are, where you want the ball to go, seeing a pass ahead type.
It's a lot about too, like how a point guard in basketball has to decide if they want to speed the game up or slow it down. It's a lot like that, where you just sometimes you have to hold on to it for a minute, let everybody get ready. Sometimes you're just trying to go as fast as you can.
Takes me a little bit back to when you're on the mound, right?
Right.
Sometimes you want to work faster, sometimes you want to work slower. But if you're a goalie and you're kind of on an island because you're protecting, you're the only one there, and if you're on the mound, you're kind of on the island. That's a vulnerable spot, and obviously someplace where you're very successful. Obviously, you don't mind that pressure.
No, I mean it's not. There's nothing to get worked up over, really. It's supposed to be fun. It's a game. It's a competition. So there's no reason to make it stressful or anything
Absolutely.
like that.
So I tell you, we've seen Mason excel on the baseball field. We've
100%.
seen him excel on the soccer field. Mason also carries a 4.241 GPA. So Mason flat out gets it done in the classroom as well. So talk to us about kind of what that means to really excel in the classroom, and maybe what your favorite class is at the high school.
Favorite class probably be business class.
Yeah.
Something
I used to
with
teach
words.
Sort of.
He's a business teacher.
I was a business teacher. I was on the roster. So what do you want to do after school, Mason? Like when you get out and you proceed past Garrard County, what's some of the things you'd like to do?
Engineering, something I'm looking at, something in that area.
Oh, yeah.
Not sure what kind or anything.
Here's what I'll tell you. Anything you choose to do, you're going to be successful.
I agree with that.
100%.
Impressive young man.
Before we let you go, before Justin comes in, you have one choice. It's a tie ball game in soccer in the last minute, and the team's coming at you to score penalty kicks, or you got a one-run lead in the bottom of the seventh, and you've got the ball on the mound with 2 outs. Which one do you want at that particular time? Because those are two of the biggest pressure situations I could probably think of. That's a tough one, isn't it?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I think the answer is both.
That's both. I mean, that's a tough question. Here's the one I would want. Neither. Here's the one
I think Mason was saying both.
So I'll let you take both, and I'll take neither. So Mason, thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. You're a fantastic young man. You got great parents. We absolutely love them. Your dad's a longtime Garrard County resident and a former alum, not in soccer, but a former alum in golf and in basketball, and we appreciate you. Appreciate all you do. Thanks, man. Come on in here, Justin.
So as Justin is coming on, Justin Boyd.
Justin
Boyd.
Boyd.
And he said he's impressed that Mr. Klusner was able to kind of keep his composure with 2 knuckleheads like us talking to him.
Well, I mean, so that's the thing. All this pressure that you guys have in games, it's nothing like talking to us because you never know what's going to happen, right? Yeah. Justin, thanks for coming in, brother. We appreciate it. Tell us a little bit about Justin and what's your kind of your soccer history and a little bit of background about yourself.
Well, I've been playing since my 6th grade year, and that all started for me, played FIFA, the soccer video game, and I was like, it seems fun. I'm going to try it in real life. And thought it was going to be a piece of cake, but that running.
Oh, yeah.
So. And I was going to ask that, so you have to get tired, Justin. I mean, there's not a lot of timeouts. It's not like football where it's go and stop and go. I mean, you're just running the whole entire time. Is that fun?
Well, it's like, I know, what's the word? Like when you're in game, you really don't feel it because you want that ball. So you're not really focused on the running.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of.
I always feel it when I'm running. I'm going to tell you.
I only run if someone's chasing me, Justin.
And I just have to outrun you if we're running through there. So Justin, what do you like most about soccer? I do know, soccer's a physical game.
Yes,
like Coach Gresham said, it's a very taxing on your body up and down, and it's very competitive. What draws you to the game to make you love it as much as you do?
I would say like my teammates.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And when just seeing them thrive on the field.
Yeah, man.
Like you should see the celebrations that some of them do.
Yeah. So here's the thing that I'll tell you, like from your answers and talking to you before, it's so cool to see some of your best memories is when other people do well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that is such a good quality because you don't see that every day on folks. It's like, what did I do? You know, that kind of stuff. That's a great quality, man. I sure appreciate that. Sure appreciate that about you. Tell me a little bit about the position you play. What do you do, and what are some of the things that Coach Klusner has you do in game?
Oh, well, I play left back, which is like the left defender.
Uh-huh. Oh,
so,
Towards the back.
Towards the back.
So basically